Good morning, YouTube. It is 10 a.m. in the great state of Texas. And what do we have here? A large piece of poplar wood. And if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, we are in year 3.5 doing this. Poplar is where I got my start wood turning. So we haven't done a woodworking project with just wood in a while. So I thought, hey, let's get some poplar and let's cut it down. And let's go back to what we originally started doing on this channel, which was just simple bowl projects. So that's what we're doing in today's project. So we've been doing epoxy projects for the last couple of weeks. So I thought, hey, let's add something a little bit different to the channel. So I think this summer we're going to be doing a lot more wood projects, or at least more frequently. So cut up these blocks. I think this is about 6 inches. I don't even know the dimensions, I'll be honest. So we cut it down on the miter saw. Now we're just doing our classic glue up that we usually will do. Getting everything relatively nice and even. Gorilla Glue, not sponsored by the way. This is my favorite glue to use. I do use Tight Blonde glue as well. I think that works just as well. So either one works. Gorilla Glue is what I had in the garage at the time. So I finished this project actually in either October, November. I honestly can't remember. You guys are probably watching this in the springtime of 2022. So that's a lot of time that's gone by. So trying to remember everything that kind of happened in this project. So getting the vice clamps glued up, getting everything nice, tight, and even. This is actually one of my favorite parts of doing these wood projects is the glue up, because it's just messy, it gets everywhere, and it's kind of cool in my opinion. So sorry about the shoddy camera work. I'm working on the camera work as best as I possibly can. So we did this as a simple project back in October. I had a lot of job stuff going on at the time, so I wanted to do something simple. Didn't have any epoxy in the garage, and that's another big reason why we did a wood project around this time of the year when I did it. So this is actually the glue up approximately like 4 to 5 days afterwards. Got everything out of the vice grips. Everything seems, nice and glued up, nice and even. And I don't think I showed this part, but I actually had to take the sander to the top portion of this just to get everything nice and leveled, and you know how much I love sanding, so just ended up skipping that in the video altogether. So getting the faceplate put on there nice and even, and now we're putting it onto the lathe. And not a lot of problems with this one, like I said. So when I first started woodworking poplar wood, it's a very soft wood, very easy to work with. So if you're getting into woodworking, get some poplar wood. I picked this beam up for like $10 at Lowe's. Really easy to work with, not a whole lot of problems. So hit it with the round carbide tool and the bowl gouge itself. We're just getting that nice cylindrical look. And I was initially going to do like something a little bit more fancy, but I really just wanted to do something easy this time. I think I was just tired and wanted to get a project in, so I kept it relatively simple. So this isn't as intricate as some other projects that I've done on the channel. And like I said, going just really back to basics with wood turning. So just wanted to do something really simple, nothing too complicated. And as you see from the video, we're going to use fire. So if you're, think that this is boring, just wait to the end when we start burning stuff. So this part was the part that kind of gave me a problem. So when you're lining up these blocks, you're actually going against the grain when you start the gouging process. And you'll see here a little bit later, I had some issues with the actual gouging itself. Once we got to this point, we're in a nice cylinder type presentation at this point, getting everything nice and even. And essentially now what we're going to do is start the gouging portion of it. Actually, take that back. I had a brain fart there. We forgot to make the mortise. So I was making the bottom portion of it, and now we're going to make the mortise. Sorry. See, it's late. It's 1:30 in the morning. Today is actually just November 30th of 2021. You guys are watching this like a whole, almost 6-7 months into the future. So sorry, just trying to get through the commentary. And I forgot to make the mortise. That's super important. So actually somebody had asked me a while back, they don't remember me making tenons, and I used to make tenons for this, and then I learned how to make mortises. So I've been doing mortises ever since. So excuse me. So now we're starting the actual gouging portion of it, and from what I can remember, I had a little bit of issue with the actual gouging portion itself. Like I said, we're going against a grain here, so a little bit more difficult gouging against the grain than with the grain. So how you set up the blocks definitely does matter, but I've done this in the past, so I wasn't too concerned about it. I just knew that it was going to take a little bit more time to get that done, and I think I did a majority of the work with the round and the square carbide tool, especially on the side portions of it, just, working the edges, getting to a nice depth. And the camera work really doesn't show, the inside of the bowl, because it's really hard to get the camera and be able to actually, bull gouge at the same time. And you can see me tightening down the actual piece itself, and you'll notice that with these elongated pieces like this, you really, get a lot of vibration on the chisel, and sometimes it'll just, I've had projects fly off the lathe like that. So you don't want to tighten it down too much, because you can break the mortise in the back if you end up tightening down on the chuck a little too hard, which I've done in the past before, and we're essentially just trying to avoid that. So had to go back a couple of times from what I could remember, and had to tighten everything down, just really taking our time. I did have some aggravation with it, because the problem with doing this is it's a slow process, and there's a lot of material to take down. So you really just have to get to a nice depth that you want, get in there with the chisels, and again, going back with the round carbide or the square carbide tool, trying to get down in there. I'm 6'2", by the way. So looking down into the actual bowl itself really takes a toll on your back after a while. So, hey, if you're a woodworker out there and you're tall like me, take the breaks, because your back will appreciate it a little bit later. So got to the depth that we essentially wanted, and I was like, okay, this is a good stopping point. So we're pretty much to the depth that we are. And like I said, this was like just a quick little project that I threw together. You can see all the dust. It was mostly dust, because you're going against the grain. We did not have the cool ribbons, and you can tell from the material there on the lathe how difficult it was to actually gouge this out. So in unconventional fashion, I think we went from 80 grit all the way up to 320 on this one. So not a whole lot of sanding involved. A majority of this project, most of it, was just cleaning up the workbench after all that. So once we got everything sanded, now the torch part, setting stuff on fire. And poplar is pretty boring. It's not very exciting wood. And I've done some burnt poplar woods in the past, but I decided just to go ahead and torch the entire thing. So I'm just like, okay, let's get a nice, looking grain on it. And it looks pretty good with the grain, and once we hit it with the wood wax, it's going to, pop a lot more. And then I'm going to go ahead and light the actual inner portion of it, and nearly catch my garage on fire. And have a fire extinguisher available, people. Safety first. And just burning that up. Love fire. Who doesn't? I think that goes back from just being a Boy Scout. But got that burnt down. Now we're just going to hit it with that wood wax. And a part that you guys aren't going to see here is I actually went back and put a coat of lacquer on it. My wife actually took custody of this bowl after she saw it. She really liked it. You can see the soot and everything once we start the actual polishing process. See how dark, all that burnt wood that we're coming off of that. But important, hit it with the lacquer, or that thing is going to smudge every time you touch it. So here's my shoddy camera work after the fact. Getting everything, trying to make that cool look, like, oh my gosh, look how cool this is. Like I said, nothing extravagant this week, just something plain, simple, getting back to basics. So poplar wood, really suggested if you're just getting into woodworking. Real soft, easy wood to work with. So hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next project. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace. Alright, so project is done. Here's this little guy. Just a little burnt up. It happens. But I've done some burnt poplar in the past, but I just kind of just skimmed the edges of it a little bit. I'll probably go back and burn the bottom now that it's off the lathe, but overall really happy the way this turned out. I haven't done a lot of wood projects. I'm trying to incorporate them more into this year's projects. So today is like November 4th, 2021, right? Let me see. November 5th, 2021. When you guys are watching this, you guys are probably going to watch this in spring. I'm just going to start saying generalized seasons, because I don't know, because my life is kind of in flux with work and everything right now. So I'm putting these out way in advance. But you guys are probably watching this in the spring of 2022. For sure 2022, but not too bad. Burnt it, gonna put some lacquer on it. I'll skip that part for you guys, but overall, just like doing wood projects, they're just a little bit better than epoxy. Not better than epoxy, but a little bit more, I don't know. Is it just a different technique? But overall, hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys got something out of it. Burnt poplar wood.
looking really good. So anyway, don't forget to subscribe, like it, all that stuff that every YouTuber says. And I'll see you guys in the next project. Peace.